In this video, what we're going to do is we're going to test the assumption that large language models are not at the point where they can reason or create new findings given existing data. So we're going to try this on a very important topic, which is heart disease, which is not number one, but a top issue in health, just across the board, definitely in the United States. So what I did is I've consolidated about 12 studies, and I got a PDF breakdown of the exact study published. So the exact text from the PDF, and I'll show you an example here. So something like this, and it takes everything in there. I just took that file straight, or I took a Wikipedia breakdown of that article. That's kind of all the core findings in it. And we're going to test Claude 3.7 Sonnet. We're going to test Google AI Studio, which they have various different models, but in this one we're going to do Gemini 2.0 Pro Experimental and ChatGPT R1 and DeepSeek R1, or whatever's going to run. We're going to find it out. So the prompt that I'm going to use here, so I'll say, hey, given all these studies on heart disease, gather and analyze the findings, assumptions, techniques, facts, data, and methods of all studies. Compare all those outputs to your baseline knowledge about heart disease. And then the key here is, I said, produce in 2 sentences the most significant possible realization or finding about heart disease that could lead to better treatment, an overall cure, preventative strategy, or something that could reduce deaths from heart disease significantly. Do not provide additional details other than those 2 sentences. Blend your justification and reasoning into those sentences, but keep the output at an elevator pitch level. So I want it to take in everything, reason, and then say, here's what I found. So I'm going to fire this off, and then we're going to go out with the output. So Claude, it took all the studies. It looks like right off the bat it is rejecting the length limit, and so what I'll do right here is I'll just take a few out, which will kind of burden the overall effect here. So what I'm going to try to do is remove just as many as I can. This is also a limitation, right? I like to highlight that. So maybe the PDF file size can't hang. So with Claude, we're gonna see where we can get. With Google, we're going to go ahead and try to run that. So that'll go through. That's thinking and running. We'll go over to ChatGPT. ChatGPT only let me put 10 of the studies in. I think that that's something to keep in mind here. DeepSeek doesn't look like it's going to run. You can only read 54% of all files. So in that situation, we're going to go and just cull a few of these randomly until we get to where it can. So put that in. We got 5 studies in DeepSeek. So obviously this is not going to be a proper test against all of these, because they do have their limits, but that's kind of part of the finding, is like, how much information can these even parse, and then what can they provide and deal with. So Google took them all like a champ. It was pretty interesting to see. Right off the bat, definitely violated the elevator pitch realization. It gave me way more than I wanted, but it did give an elevation at the, an elevator pitch at the bottom. And it talks about inflammation and neurohormonal mechanisms. I am obviously not a doctor. I don't know anything about this. Not just standard lipid lowering. Provide the greatest mortality reductions in patients with both high and low cardiovascular risks. Future personalized preventative care could include low-dose poly pills containing both an anti-inflammatory contained with a low-dose statin and 2 or more antihypertensives to reduce morbidity before a first major adverse cardiovascular event, while mitigating potential side effects. I'm basically just going to publish all this on X thread and just see what people think. Okay, so Claude is revolting against me. I'm going to see what happens when I take just a couple of these down. I bet you that we'll get down to something like 5. Okay, so it looks like we got 6. And Claude is off to the races on that. So Google was a first across the line. O1 still running. DeepSeek looks like it adhered to that. So DeepSeek. So it talks about the integration of lipid lowering statins, which I think we got a similar thing from Google. Anti-inflammatory therapies, neurohormonal modulators. ARNIs, totally know what those are. Addresses cholesterol, inflammation, and vascular stress pathways, reducing cardiovascular mortality by up to 35%, while early intervention in high-risk populations, even with borderline biomarkers, through personalized multi-targeted regimens, could prevent over 50% of avoidable heart disease deaths globally. Okay. What I'm going to challenge these all with, once they provide their findings, I think there's a lot of medical breakdown here. That's great. I'm going to publish that in the thread. But I'm also going to challenge it to do is to just give me a breakdown in plain English that everyone could understand. So that also may not be possible, but I do kind of want to see what it does with a prompt of that. So with Claude, I do think just reading this, and I'll put these responses out on the video for you guys to read so that you don't have to zoom in on the video or anything like that. But similar themes, but it seems more nuanced with Claude based off of what I'm reading. So this goes into long-term statin therapy significantly reduces cardiovascular mortality and morbidity across diverse patient populations, with greater LDL cholesterol reduction correlating with better outcomes, suggesting aggressive lipid-lowering therapy should be a cornerstone of treatment. Beyond lipid lowering, statins appear to improve endothelial function through pleiotropic effects. Wow, nailed that one. Pleiotropic effects, which may explain their substantial clinical benefits even in patients only with modestly elevated cholesterol levels. Interesting. Okay, ChatGPT is really going hard right now. So this is going through, it is looking at everything. I am looking at what could be chain of thought. It may have even stalled out. Hard to say. But it's not giving a deep rundown of everything. I think that what's fascinating here is DeepSeek went through, gave a lot more detail to its reasoning, which is one of the values of DeepSeek, is being able to see what's going on under the hood there. Grok definitely does that too. I'm definitely going to include Grok in this as well in a different video potentially. Just want to kind of limit it down to this, but I'm going to go ahead and start the prompt for the simplification in layman terms. Provide a breakdown. What your findings mean that could be understood by the average high school senior. Okay, I'm going to run that and DeepSeek as well, and then Claude as well. Now, I omitted and gave different study data, but one of the things is I told it to exercise its baseline knowledge. So it should be pouring through a variety of baseline training data and information on heart diseases, and maybe even study texts that could be powerful here depending on what these different models were trained with. So that's something to keep in mind. Okay. So Google gave a breakdown more robust with bullet points and then a elevator pitch at the bottom. Okay. And ChatGPT is still going. So DeepSeek is still thinking as well. And the server is busy. One of the things with DeepSeek is like pretty much across the board, you pretty much go in with one prompt. And this is in the web because, you know, it's better to run local if you're going to do that. But like if you go and you try to use DeepSeek, like you're not going to get very far. The servers are always busy or what have you. I don't think that they really intend to serve out that much availability here. I think they pretty much will show you what it looks and feels like, kind of, hey, here's what it has to offer, and then you're pretty much done. I think that seems to be my experience poking around DeepSeek, is that you can pretty much get one prompt fired off it, and then you're done. Okay. 01, come on, man. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to aggregate all this together. I'm going to put in an X feed, and then that will all be available on there. I'll put links below to this, but I just thought this was an interesting experiment, right? I have no idea if these findings are, in fact, groundbreaking, but this is an example of things that we could try to start seeing when we do have novel or innovative or groundbreaking realizations that happen at the reasoning level when we provide large swaths of contextually relevant data. If we gather up those files, put them in there, and then prompt correctly, what do we get? And that's kind of the experiment here. So if you're a doctor or you know someone who it is, or you know somebody who's in this field, it would be interesting to share this with them and see, you know, what could, if this is something that's just like a duh, everybody knows that, this is common knowledge, or are we finding something new here? And at this point in time, I think that this is the whole point of this experiment. So overall, across the board, I'm going to say, not seeing anything from ChatGPT. I'll kind of note that. If we don't get anywhere, I will try to wait on it, and then, you know, I don't want to put you guys on hold for the entire video. However, if we do get a response from ChatGPT, I'll put that out there. DeepSeek. Oh, okay. Look, here you go. So it actually did, after I said, hey, revisit the server, try it again. It actually gave me a second prompt, which is like that's a diamond in the mine, right? You don't normally get that from DeepSeek in my experience, right? So maybe you may be having different experiences as well. So I'll push all these out. Just wanted to show you guys the technique. All I did was condense things into PDF. I just literally went to web pages, downloaded the PDF, put them all in the folder, uploaded them here, and then and hit go. So overall, I hope that was helpful, and if it was, throw this video a thumbs up if you like this video, if you want me to try more things like this.